Hello everybody and welcome to lesson 9 of the Makeblock Steam onboard course. Did you know that the first computer program was written by a female named Ada Lovelace and that the first computer game was invented all the way back in 1961? My name is Riyaadh Mayet from the uTyala STEM Institute and I will be guiding you today through lesson 9, which is called Where's the Panda? Before we begin with lesson 9, let's have a quick review of everything that we learned in lesson 8. In lesson 8, we made a game called a running moth. We learned how to control the movement of the moth and the bat using conditional statements. We learned about two new coding blocks. The point in direction block, whose function is to specify the direction of the sprite by adjusting the direction pointer or inputting some numerical value. Remember, 0 is for up, 90 is for right, 180 is for down, and minus 90 is for left. We also learned about the stop all block, which ends all scripts without the need to physically stop the program. In the game A Running Moth, we used conditional statements many times. Let us review what the following two sets of code can do. The effect of the first script shown is that when the up arrow key is pressed, the sprite will point upwards and move 5 steps in an upward direction. The effect of the second script is that if the moth touches the bat, then the moth will keep falling down. Here is a video of last week's game. In this lesson, we will play the video game Where is the Panda? In this game, Panda is hidden in one of the two boxes. Click on the box that you guessed. If you guessed correctly, fireworks will be released on stage. Otherwise, a bomb will explode on stage. The rules of the game are as follows. Panda hides in one of the two boxes that are shown on stage. The player needs to guess in which box the panda can be found. Once the player decides which box the panda is in, the player will then click on the box. Based on whether the panda is in the correct box, fireworks or a bomb will be displayed on screen. Here is a short video of me playing the game Where's the Panda? To design the gameplay for this game, we will need to learn some more programming skills. There are many interactions between the sprites. For example, if you click on the right box, a panda will appear with celebration fireworks. However, if you click on the wrong box, a bomb will pop out on the stage. How did the mechanics happen? The mechanics involves a set of blocks known as broadcast blocks, which can send messages and receive messages between sprites. In order to send a message from a sprite, the broadcast message block is used. The broadcast message block is an event block, and its function is to create and customize a message and send it out from one sprite to another sprite. Please note that a sprite can also send multiple messages. If you look at the example code in the top right corner, when the sprite is clicked, it will send out message 1. In order to receive a message, the when I receive message block from the events blocks are used. Its function is to select the message to be received and to execute the corresponding blocks when the corresponding message is received. For example, when the green flag is clicked, the sprite will be hidden. However, when it receives message 1 from the sender sprite, it will show itself. Together, we are now going to learn how to use the broadcast blocks by beginning to write the game program. The aim of this part is to make the box move away from the panda when the box is clicked. Therefore, we will be able to see where the panda is hiding. The first step that we need to do in order to write our program is to change the background. So we're going to click the background tab, which can be found next to sprites, and we're going to add another costume by clicking on the plus icon. In the top left search bar, we are going to search for stage. We're going to choose the first option. You could choose the second option also, but for this program, the stage number 1 works better without spotlights. So we can go ahead and click OK. Cool. So now we have our panda who is on the stage. The next thing that we are going to do is add another sprite to represent our box or our shield. So we can go to sprites, click on add, and we're going to search for shield. There's 5 options that come up. We want shield number 2 because it is like a square and looks like a box. Cool, so now we've added our shield and we have our panda. The next thing we are going to do is try to hide our panda away by clicking on the box and moving it so that it covers the panda. So if you click on the box, keep your mouse clicked in and move the box around until the panda is covered. There we go. So now it seems like our panda is concealed by the box. You could make the box a little bigger to make this easier. We are now going to begin the code for the shield. In order to write the code for the shield, we need to go to the Events tab and choose an event to start our program. For the sake of this part of the program, we want the program to start when we click on the box. So therefore, we are going to choose when the sprite is clicked as our starting point. The next thing we're going to do is use a broadcast message. So when the sprite is clicked, it should send a message to the panda sprite so the panda knows that the box has been clicked. In order to send the broadcast, we can choose broadcast message 1 and attach it under the first block. And we're going to change our message. If you click here, go to new message, we're just going to call our message number 1 to make it easy. So when the sprite is clicked, it should broadcast the message to the panda that it has been clicked. And this message is called message number 1. We also want our box to move away from our panda when the sprite is clicked. And for that, we can use the glide function that we learned in lesson 7. So if we choose glide seconds to an XY position and attach it over there, we want to glide for a half a second so that the box moves away quickly. And we're going to change our X position to -120 and our Y position to 50. This will make the box basically move away from the panda. Now that we're done with this, we can go ahead and write the program for the panda. So for that, I'm going to click on my panda and the script area is empty. So we need to add an event in order to start the program. For that, we are going to choose the when the green flag is clicked program. The next thing we are going to do is hide our sprite away when the program begins. For this, we can use the hide function that we learned in lesson 7 and attach it under when clicked. So when the program starts, the panda should be hidden away. However, we know that when we click on the box, we want our panda to appear. So therefore, the panda needs to receive the message that the box was clicked. And for that, we can go to the control events and choose, we can go to the events and choose another starting event. In this case, we want the event to begin when the panda receives message 1. So we're going to choose the block when I receive. It's already programmed to be number 1. What do we want the panda to do once the message is received? We want the panda to show itself. And for that, we can go to looks and use the show block that we learned about in lesson 7. Now we have the complete code for both the shield and for the panda. Let's go to full screen mode to see what happens when we click the green flag and click on the shield. As you can see, the shield moves away from the panda when the green flag is clicked. We are now going to learn how to make the boxes appear as though they are being shuffled. In the beginning of the game video, the two boxes kept swapping their positions with each other. In order to switch back and forth between positions and sprites, we can use two glide blocks that work in opposite directions. We can then place these blocks into a repeat block, which makes it seem like the boxes are being continuously shuffled at the beginning of the video. Let's try to use this function in our code. We want our box to appear as though it's sliding from side to side. If we can do this with the one box, then we can do it with the other boxes. So it will then appear that the two boxes are being swapped with each other. So in order to do this, we're going to use our previously generated code. I want you to click on the shield 2 sprite because we're going to alter the code for the shield. Remember, we want to make our shield move, not necessarily our panda. The first thing that we want to do is make our shield start off in the bottom left corner when the green flag is clicked. For that, we can go to the control area, the events area, and choose when the green flag is clicked so that the box knows when the program is started, it needs to go to a certain position. To make our box go to the certain position, we can use the go to XY function from the motion category and place that beneath our when the green flag is clicked. Now what numbers you enter into here and here are quite important. These need to correspond to the bottom left corner. The coordinates for X should be minus 120, which corresponds to the left hand side. And the Y value should be minus 80, which corresponds to the bottom. The next thing we are going to do is use the repeat and glide functions as we mentioned previously. So let's get a repeat loop from our control block and attach it beneath the go to X. 10 times of a repeat will result in a lot of shifting, and so we only want to repeat 3 times because that is sufficient for the sake of our game. As we saw in the previous diagram, we need to use 2 glide functions with opposite directionalities. So for that, we can go to the motion area and choose the glide 1 second to XY position. We're going to place this within our repeat loop, and we're going to use 2 of them. Because we want it to appear as though the boxes are shuffling fast, we're going to change the time from 1 second to a half a second for both the glide blocks. And then we need to talk about our positions. In the first position, we want our box to glide to the right hand side. And so we're going to change our x value to 90. In the next movement, we want it to move back to the left hand side. And the x value corresponding to this is minus 120. This value is the same as the initial glide value that we wrote out. If you notice, the y value is not being changed. This is because the movement is happening in the right-left direction and not in the up and down directions. Now we can go ahead to full screen mode to see what this program does. So when I click on the green flag now, the box or shield number 2 is shifting from right to left for a certain period of time. If I increase the time used to glide, it will make the box appear as though it is moving slower. And if I change the number of repeats, then the time taken to move side to side will change. It can either increase or decrease. I am now going to guide you on how to write the complete program for the game Where's the Panda. We are going to use our previously generated script in order to do this. The requirements for the game Where is the Panda are as follows. Number 1. There are 2 boxes on the stage that will slide back and forth. Number 2. After the left box is clicked, the box will move up, the panda will appear, and the fireworks will explode. Number 3. After the right box is clicked, the box will move up, the panda will not appear, and the bomb will explode. The first thing we are going to do in order to write the complete program is to program the firework. We want our fireworks to appear when the box on the left is clicked after the game has started. So therefore we need to add a firework sprite. So we're going to go to sprites and add a new sprite. On the top left in the search bar, we are going to search for firework. There's 2 that come up. We are choosing the one that's called fireworks because it has multiple costumes. And we can click OK. So now we have our fireworks sprite. We are going to click on the fireworks sprite and start to program it. What we want to happen in the beginning of the program when the green flag is clicked is that we want our firework to be hidden. Therefore, we need to go to events and add a starting event. We are going to choose when the green flag is clicked. We want our firework to be much bigger than what it currently is, and so we are going to double its size. In order to do that, we can go to the looks category and change or choose the set size to block. We're going to change this to 200% to make it double its original size. The next thing we want to do is hide our firework until it receives a message that the block on the left has been clicked. In order to hide the firework, we can choose the hide function or hide block from the looks category and attach it to the bottom of the set size block. The next thing we are going to do is make our firework appear when it receives the message from the first block. In order to do that, we can go to events and see whether the message is received by choosing when I receive. We're going to leave this to number 1 because number 1 is the block on the left. The next thing that we are going to do in order to write the program is to command our firework to be shown when it receives message number 1. For that, we can choose the show function from looks and attach it to the bottom of the when I receive block. Now we have the finished code for the firework. Let's go and try it out. So I clicked my green flag and my box is shuffling. When the box stops shuffling, if I click on this box, the fireworks appear and the panda appears as per our requirement. We are now going to write the code for the second shield, which appears at the bottom right corner in the beginning of the video. The code for the second shield is very similar to the code for the first shield. However, the coordinates need to change in order to match the movements, which are essentially the opposite of the movements that we used for the first shield. In order to add another shield, we need to go to the Sprites tab and click on the plus icon. We are going to search for shield as we did for the first box. We're going to select shield number 2, which is the same as the first box. Cool, so now we have our design area for our second shield. In the beginning of the game, when the green flag is clicked, we want our shield to appear in the bottom right corner. In order to do this, we first need to add an event when the green flag is clicked, and then send our box to the bottom right corner by using the goToXY block from motion. We need to determine what the X and Y position will be. The bottom right corner, the X value corresponds to 90 and the Y value corresponds to minus 80. The next thing that we want to do is make our box appear as though it is shuffling, like we did for the first box. In order to do that, we are going to need a repeat loop from the control area. We're going to change the number of repeats to 3 like we did for the previous one. And then we are going to add 2 glide blocks in order to make it glide from right to left and left to right. Remember, the directions in these glide blocks will be opposite to each other. Let's go and find the glide 1 second. Right. So we're going to add 2 of these blocks and we're going to change the gliding time to 0.5 seconds so that it matches the previous box. Now we need to figure out what my X and Y value will be. Initially, the first glide needs to send our box number 2 to the position of box number 1. The coordinates corresponding to that are X minus 120 and Y minus 80. We then need to bring the box back to its original position, indicated by these coordinates over here. So the X value will be 90 and the Y value will be minus 80. The next thing that we need to do is send out a broadcast message to the bomb so that it explodes when box number 2 is clicked. In order to do that, we need to first go to events and choose when this sprite is clicked in order to initiate this motion. When the sprite is clicked, we want it to send a message, so we're going to choose the broadcast block from the events area. However, we have to change number 1 because number 1 represents the message that was broadcasted by the first box. So we're going to go to new message and call this message 2. Click OK and it will change. The next thing we want to do when the box is clicked is make it move upwards. We can do this using a glide function from the motion area. And we need to change the time to 0.5 so that it matches the previous box. The X value in this case will stay the same as the initial X value because the box is only moving upwards. So the X value will be 90. The Y value needs to be changed to a height that is equal to the height moved by the previous box, which is equal to 50. We now have all our code written and complete for box number 2. Let's go and run our program to see how it works. So when I click my green arrow, my 2 boxes are shuffling, and when I click on this box, it moves upwards. We are now going to write the last part of the program, which is the script for the explosion. In order to add an explosion, we need to first add an explosion sprite. So we're going to click on the plus icon under sprites and search for boom. There's many options and we are going to choose boom number 6. Click OK. And now we have the script area for our explosion. The explosion works in the same way as the fireworks do. However, it will receive a message not from the block on the left, but from the block on the right. So let's go to our bomb and write some code. In the beginning of the program, when the green flag is clicked, we want our bomb to be double the size, and we also want to hide it away. So we're going to choose when the green flag is clicked block, and then we are going to set the size of our explosion to 200% by choosing the set size to block from the looks tab and attaching it beneath the when the green flag is clicked tab. We can change the value to 200%. The next thing we want to do is hide our sprite away until the message is received. So we're going to choose a hide block from looks and attach it beneath this code. So now when the program is started, the size of the explosion will double and it will be hidden away. The next thing that we want to do is make our explosion visible when it receives message number 2 from the block on the right. In order to do that, we need to go to the Events tab and choose an initiation event when I receive a broadcast. We're going to change number 1 to number 2 because the message sent out by box number 2 was called number 2. So when the message number 2 is received, then we want to show our block. So we can go to looks and select the show function and attach it beneath. So now it looks pretty similar to the code for the firework. We can now go to the full screen area and see if our game works. Let's go and try. Let's start our program. The boxes are shuffling. Let's test the box on the right. As you can see, the panda is not there. The box moved up and the explosion happened. Let's compare this to what happens if we click the box on the left. If you click the box on the left, the panda will appear, the fireworks will explode, and the box will move away. And so our program is working properly. I would love to see your designs for the game. Where's the panda? Also, don't forget to share with your friends and family and see what ideas they might have. Do you know how to broadcast a message now? Try to use it to improve your game. For example, when the game ends, you can add the game over effect. This can be done by searching for game hint in the sprites bar, and then using a broadcast message to indicate when the game over effect should come into place. For now, it's quiz time and we have 3 questions to answer. Question 1. Which is the correct statement? Question 2. There are 2 sprites in a program, indicated by the scripts shown below. If you click on the green flag and then click on sprite 1, what is the status of sprite 2? Question 3. There are 3 sprites in a program, as shown by the scripts below. If you click on the green flag and then click on sprite 3, what are the sprites that will be displayed in the stage area? That brings us to the end of lesson 9 of the fun and interesting Makeblock STEAM onboard course. Share your work with us at the uTyala STEM Institute using Facebook and Instagram. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, happy programming.